Alright, just going to do a video that I promised to do. I've just been away to Blackpool for night. I didn't know I was going yesterday till late afternoon, and on way back M60 was shut. So I had a right job getting over to, is it A57 Glossop Way? Anyway, I made it for a 3-hour job. But anyway, to cut a long story short, got a bit of an hangover, but the news I'm going to talk about is the Billy Joe Saunders Martin Murray cancellation of the fight. I feel for Martin Murray. You know, he's had 2 camps now pull out, and I think probably the best thing is for them to give him another, to still let him fight on the night, but then it's not going to be a world title fight, is it? So I think, and them 2 camps would have took a lot out of Martin because he's an hard trainer. But I think the best thing would be some sort of compensation. Now, we all know that Frank Warren has insurance on world title fights when guys get injured. Now, I don't know if in this agreement, if Martin Murray is going to get anything. I don't know. Maybe he might get his training expenses. I don't know. I don't know the situation. I don't know, but I know world title fights are insured. It's done through Lloyd's of London, but we don't know what theories are going around, do we? Or why? Sorry, we don't know what the situation is, do we? We always jump to conclusions. So I could sit on here and I could hammer Frank Warren, because all he's done for a few years now, he's moved dates around, and you can't say that the fights that he does get on are bad fights, but the fans have got no confidence in Frank Warren's. I don't think they've got any. I don't think they've got any confidence in Frank's in Frank's shows. I mean, for example, if my little lad's only 5-year-old, nearly 6, but if he were probably 8 or 9-year-old and he wanted to go boxing, and I was going to buy a Frank Warren ticket for one of his shows, I'd want to buy it after weigh-in, just to be on the safe side. I wouldn't want to. But then if you're travelling to the other end of the country and you wanted to get good deals with hotels and trains, it's one of them things, isn't it? You don't take a risk on hotel, you don't take a risk on the train. So if you're going last minute, you're going to pay top dollar on train, aren't you, if you want a beer, or you're going to pay top dollar for hotel. So it's unfortunate, but it just seems to be happening all the time. I think Frank's career at the moment is 2 steps forward and 2 steps back, like that Paula Abdul song, isn't it? I don't think it's good for boxing. And all the other guys on the show, it's affected. You know, all the rest of them on that show, is it Yarde, Dubois? You know, it's affected all them lads. So, but the show's still going on, innit? So, well, I would have thought he's not going to pull it, but it remains to be seen if he pulls the show. But how can he move ahead now? We know main act. I mean, O2, they're going to headline that we now. Who's going to headline that? It just seems crazy, doesn't it? So I don't know what to make of it all. I'm not a big Frank Warren fan. I think he's had his day. I think he knows he's probably had his day, but we don't know exactly what's going on behind the scenes now. For example, Billy Joe Saunders, right? Can Billy Joe Saunders fight? Yeah, he can fight. Is he a world-class fighter? Yeah, he's a world-class fighter. Is he a world-class puncher? No. But he can fight, can't he? Boxing is hit and don't get hit, and he can do that. He's an Olympian, British Commonwealth, European world champion. So he's the real deal. I don't think he's frightened of Martin Murray. All this on Twitter. He's frightened of Martin Murray. No, he ain't. But he's done a video, hasn't he, saying that Martin Murray's a tick-over fight and he's a bum. I don't like that. I've called that name myself to some fighters, but I don't like to. It's only when I'm raging. I think Billy's maybe said that in temper. I think he's let his son down there. I think he's probably let himself down. Coming out with, there's nobody he's frightened of. Who's coming out of it, the mothers, whatever, CUNT. I don't like all that talk about mothers and that down below. I don't like stuff like that, and some of the stuff that he says in videos. I think it gives travellers a bad name. We've all had run-ins with travellers, haven't we? And everybody seems to build up a perception about what they are, but then you have people like Huey Fury who do good things, say all right things, and then Billy, and it puts travellers in a good light, and then Billy sort of undoes it all, doesn't he? He's not the only traveller that does that undoes all the good work, but it is what it is, isn't it? But I feel for Martin Murray a lot, unless he gets compensated. I think it's out of order what's gone on. 2 pull-outs. You know, it's becoming a regular occurrence, isn't it, with Billy Joe's fights now? But we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, do we? Or anything could happen. I mean, you know, I heard a little whisper. I'm not going to say you off, but that, you know, Dominic Ingle's upset over his dad, and who's to say that, you know, it ain't anything to do with Dominic and that his mind ain't on the job, or who's to say that they all didn't pack training camp in out of respect for Brendan? And we don't know, do we? We don't know what's gone on behind the scenes, but somebody's lost a life, Brendan, who's like a legend, isn't he? He should be knighted. Should have been knighted, and let's hope that they can give some sort of award to him, the government, and let his lovely wife Alma collect it. I don't know what's gone on, but you'd have thought that it'd be hard for them all to carry on that gym, because they're quite close up there, aren't they? I know they get stick on Twitter, and I know they dish it out, but they can all fight, can't they, all them lads? We don't know, do we? We don't know if there's arguing with teams, or is Billy Joe's weight a problem? I've heard his weight could be a problem. We're not going to get to know how. We're only going to speculate or surmise. That's all we can do, surmise or speculate. But I think the right questions need to be asked. I think that Coogan and James Elder, they need to start asking the questions to Frank Warren and to Billy Joe Saunders. They need to ask him what his weight is, and is it the weight? But you're not going to get a straight answer from him, are you? Because it's a business, and I do tend to agree with Billy Joe Saunders at some stage. Some of the stuff that he comes out with, it's a business, isn't it? He's the one in there taking punches, isn't he? Or not that he gets hit that many times, but he's the one doing the work, isn't he? So we don't know what's going on in background, do they? But they all say the businessman. Businessmen to me is people walking around with briefcases. That's a businessman. Who draw contracts up and they sell things and do this and that. That's a businessman. To me, businessmen are not boxers who scream and shout saying they want X amount to fight, or they're not going to fight this person, or they're pulling out of this fight because of an injury. That to me ain't a businessman. That's just somebody that's greedy and wants more money. They're forgetting what they do when they handshake and say to somebody, "You've got my word, I'm going to fight you." Now, aren't fighting men, travelling men, supposed to be men of the word? We're not saying Billy Joe can't have a fight, but shouldn't he stand on really and rearrange the Martin Murray date with a stipulation in the contract that if he pulls out again, Martin Murray gets compensation, or he gives him some compensation now for his 2 training camps? Because we seem to have had this for years with Warren, don't we? If you remember going back in the day, Joe Calzaghe pulled out the Glenn Johnson 3 times. On the 3rd time, Frank Warren had to pay $100,000 to Glenn Johnson. Joe didn't fancy the job. That were a WBO job. They manoeuvred Joe Calzaghe for years, didn't they, with WBO? 22 title fights, he won them all at middle, super middle, but only 8 were former, current world champions. 8. So who were the other 14? Who? Branko Sobot. Tucker Pudwell, Dave Starry, Rick Thornberry, them sort of guys. Amiga McKirchen, shockers. Frank Warren, WBO shockers, a bit like the guy Billy Joe Saunders fought in Scotland. Yeah, it's a business, and Billy got probably decent money for fighting in Scotland, and it's an easy win. He probably thought the Martin Murray fight were an easy win, and I don't think he's frightened of fighting Martin Murray, because I rate Billy Joe Saunders. I don't rate some of the stuff he comes out with in his outbursts, but people don't rate some of the stuff I come out with in my outbursts when I get raging about boxing. So it is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is, but I think Billy Joe Saunders, if you give Martin Murray say 20 grand and said let's rearrange the dates, I'd give him some respect for that, but it looks like he might not be getting anything, and it looks like the date's not going to be arranged, and he could be fighting somebody else. So as far as I'm concerned, they're all thick as thieves, aren't they? Billy, Frank Warren, all that lot. That's what happens. Like, I see it with my own eyes. I have seen it for over 3 years what goes on behind the scenes, and I don't agree with it. It's good when you're doing it yourself, but when it affects other people it's bad. So, but we're not going to get off the topic here. The conversation is Billy Joe Saunders out of order, pulling out the fight? If he's injured, no, he ain't out of order. If the fight's not getting rearranged and Martin Murray don't get any money out of it, we as the hardcore fans and people that are around boxing would be a lot happier if Martin Murray got another date to fight him and he got some compo. That'd be good, wouldn't it? But he wants his title shot, doesn't he? Because he was robbed by Martinez, wasn't he? You could say he was robbed against the other guy as well, couldn't you, in Germany? So I feel for Martin Murray today. I feel for him. He's obviously said what he said, and Billy's called it on. Come to Tyson's fight, I'll knock you out. Now, that won't happen because there's a lot of security there, but it gives Tyson some hype at his fight, because people are now going to go to Tyson's fight, and hopefully they're going to think there's going to Billy Joe and Martin are going to be at it. So it's all worked out well for Frank Warren. They're turning a negative into a positive. See, I know how this game works. Tyson will be loving this if he's sat at home like that. Let's get them extra 5,000 tickets, or is it 14,000 they've sold? Let's get them extra 5,000-6,000 sold on the strength of Billy Joe helping his mate out and helping his promoter Frank out. So it is what it is, isn't it? They're playing the game, aren't they? And I've decided that I'm not going to get raging like I used to do before over stuff. I'm just going to try and be sensible instead of just ranting. It depends what sort of mood I'm in at the moment. Shout out to Matt Bowes. Keep watching my videos, Matt. All the best, mate. You're welcome to come to our shows anytime. You're welcome at mine anytime, or my kids' mums anytime. Come and have a beer with me, Matt. Lovely lad. But yeah, I'm getting more questions than ever now. More questions than ever off people. So I'm going to go through them all, but there's some that somebody sent me. Put that behind there. I'll go through these first before we have a little chat about boxing. Well, next door neighbour's earwigging over the other side of the fence. Porky, did you know Billy Joe's pulled out of the Martin Murray fight? Yeah, I think I did know. Yeah, I knew yesterday, mate. But good to be very observant of you. Some topics of discussion I would like you to talk about. This is from Boxing. Oh, I think I wrote that down actually. Hang on, Boxing Fan, is it? I think this is from. What's your thoughts on? What's your thoughts on Sunday? This is from somebody that sent me something on Twitter. Mark Smith, I think it is, on Twitter, whoever he is. If it's Mark Smith from Cunningsborough, who left Cunningsborough, and it's in your for ages, Mark, if it's you, if that's you. 1. Do you believe there is now too many belts in boxing, as being a world champion now has been a world champion now lost its credibility due to this? Yeah, it has, hasn't it? When Muhammad Ali were the champion, they had like 10 contenders. Everybody were known as a contender, weren't they? Now everybody's a world champion. You've got and it's been going on for 30 years, hasn't it? Well, longer, hasn't it? Maybe 50 years, because WBA and WBC have been out years, so they had 2 champions then, but they always tried to keep at the belts as one, didn't they? Well, only Don King that broke them all up, wasn't it? When he started with Larry Holmes with IBF. Yeah, I think there is too many world champions. We've covered this many times that there's too many. You know, is there like, if you count the interim champions and intercontinentals and silver champions and whatnot, haven't they got something like, is there 1800 champions from 17 weight divisions across the board? You know, WBA, WBC, I think WBA's been out longest, hasn't it? WBC, IBF, IBO, WBO, WBU, you know, KFC, LFG, fucking BIG, or whatever. You can keep going, excuse me for swearing, but you can keep going all across the board. There's that many belts now. I think that it's saturated, isn't it? So yeah, it does take that bit of coolness away, because you've got Billy Joe, who's the middleweight champion, and you've got Golovkin, haven't you? That's how I look at it. You've got 2 world champions, haven't you now? There should be one, shouldn't there? It's like Joshua, he should be itching to get in ring with Wilder and overhaul them belts. If he fights Wilder, he'll have 5 belts plus ring. He'll have all the 6 belts, the 5 main belts and the ring belt. Why aren't they itching to do it? It's just crazy. So yes, I believe that it's lost its hang on, can't see without my glasses on. Lost its credibility, yeah, being a world champion. Too many belts. Now, question 2. Billy Joe Saunders, great boxer but biggest hypocrite in boxing, pulling out of Murray fight again. Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, he's literally left himself wide open with the tweet that he put out when David A kept pulling out against Tyson. So yeah, he probably left himself wide open there. But I don't think Billy Joe's frightened of Martin Murray. I think it's probably business. I think he probably just didn't want to go through it. Maybe Martin Murray is just a little risk as well. So I think Martin Murray probably beats Lemieux, and that's, they say, he's Billy Joe's best win, don't they? Andy Lee beat him, didn't he? Billy Joe went to points with him. He's a light middleweight. Eubank and John Ryder, they were life and death fights, weren't they? And they're not world champions. They're like good British level stroke European. It depends what Billy Joe Saunders you get on at night. If Billy Joe Saunders doesn't feel 100%, he ain't going to get in that ring. He's a multi-millionaire. He's not going to risk it, and that's good business sense. So you've got to give him his dues. I mean, who's to say that Billy Joe Saunders and Tyson Fury are not just going to have boxing off? Maybe they're fed up with how they've been treated, because Billy doesn't get pay-per-views, does he?
Why are you talking to the camera?
Because I am.
Come on, Ned.
Why?
But yeah, forgot what I were there now. Who's to say that Tyson Fury and Billy Joe Saunders are saying, you know what, Billy's never had a pay-per-view. Tyson's last pay-per-view will win Mick Hennessy. He's not had one in 2.5-3 years, has he? And it don't look like he's going to get one with Frank, does it? If he's got this multi-fight deal. Who's to say Tyson's not just going to come out and knocking these guys out that are substandard? We're not going to say bums, we're going to say substandard. He's knocking out these cruiserweights that are substandard cruiserweights. Who's to say he just didn't want to do that and top his pension up and said, you know what, I've had enough of boxing, but it's the only way he knows how to get a few quid. That's what people are saying, but I don't believe that, because I think that Tyson and Billy Joe, they're very sharp men, aren't they? They've probably got something about themselves that they'll always get a few quid. But Stevie Wonder could make money, couldn't he, if he had millions? If you've got 5 million quid, you just go out and buy a load of houses and rent them out, do you? It's not rocket science, is it? It's not rocket science. So I don't know what's going to happen now. Who he's going to fight. Personally, I'm going to stick to what I've been saying for the last 3 years. Billy Joe don't want to fight Chris Eubank at 168. Don't want to fight him. And he also don't want to fight Golovkin and Canelo at 160. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to that. But I don't think he wants to take risk. I think Chris Eubank fight's a risky fight for him. It depends what Billy Joe Saunders you're going to get turning up. Who's to say you want overweight and he's thought, you know what, I'm struggling to get this last stone and a half off. Who's to say he's not 13 and a half stone and he's been on lash and he's had a drink because Brendan's died. He's had a drink with him all, they've all got upset, and who's to say that, or who's to say that Dominic just don't want to train him, and that they've said, look, out of respect Dominic, you don't have to train as your dad's died. Nobody knows, do we? We can only speculate, but I've heard Dominic's very thorough, and I'd be surprised if it were an injury. I'd be very surprised. If it is an injury, it just makes Dominic look bad, doesn't it? Because it's another pull-out and another injury. I mean, what is he doing to his guys in camp? But personally, I think it was probably a weight issue. A bit of everything. Dominic's dad dying, they might have gone out on lash. Weight issue, ticket issues. Maybe there might be some talks for another big fight. And you know what? They put it all in pot, got it all bubbling. And maybe Billy's thought, you know what, let me just take a break from boxing, because he seems to be having long breaks, doesn't he? But he don't do himself any favours saying, coming out with some stuff he does. But you know, he's a tough kid, isn't he? I've had loads of discussions with people over him. I spoke with Dennis Hobson at length about it on a car journey one day, and he was telling me that, in fact we spoke in Jersey on a car journey, and he was telling me, he said it's real deal. He said he watched him train at Beijing. He took Jamie McDonnell. When he signed Jamie McDonnell, Jamie were 8-2-1. Dennis says, right, we're going to take you to Olympics, going to show you, get you in with Terry Edwards and all England team, we're going to pay for you to go out there, and we're going to show you how top guys train and how they diet and what sessions they do and that. And he said he watched Billy Joe very closely, and all that team he did, David Price, Darren Sutherland, DeGale, Frankie Gavin, all them guys, is it John Murray's brother Joe Murray. Dennis bought them all a tag watch, which I've mentioned before, because he wanted to sign them all. He didn't get to sign any, did he? But he wanted Frankie Gavin the most, and Tony Jeffrey as well, he was there. He wanted Frankie Gavin the most, and Billy Joe, they were the two that he wanted, but everybody were after them, wasn't he? And he couldn't match the package that Frank Warren put together. And to be fair to Frank Warren, him and Bill have stayed loyal to each other, haven't they? So, but what is loyalty? I heard a story that Billy were offered X amount to fight Lemieux, and he said, no, I don't want that, Frank. Frank came back with a better offer, but if Billy hadn't said anything, would he have got that better offer? So how can that be loyalty from Frank? Offer it lowballing and then topping it up. That's what you're up against. So question 4, is it? Question 3 off this guy. Who would win if you were to have a card match-up? If you were to have a show, he means, Matchroom versus BT Sport, in your opinion, picking each stable's best fighter at each weight against each other. Phew, I don't know. I think it depends. You could mix and match with weights, couldn't you? I suppose. You could mix and match. I'd like to see. I'd like to see some fights like that, but they're not going to work together, are they? So that's the problem you've got at the moment. They're not going to work together. It's too raw. It's too raw. But you know, if it did happen, well, I don't think he's got a good middleweight, has he? He's heavyweights. I think Joshua beats Dubois. Tyson Fury against Joshua. We don't know what Tyson's going to be like, do we? So it's a good question, that, but I'd have to have all lists of fighters. Off the top of my head, you'd probably say Tyson probably beats Joshua on points, wouldn't you? If it's the Tyson who fought Vladimir. Dubois, I think Joshua's too experienced for him at the moment. Kell Brook against Bradley Skeets. Now Kell Brook's a light middle now, isn't he? Kell Brook against Beefy Smith. I think Kell and Beefy is a good fight. That's a good fight. think that's a 50-50 fight. I rate Beefy Smith. I just don't think he's had the fights. You know, he's either been overmatched or undermatched. I like to see him in a 50-50, like the Liam Williams fight. It brought the best out of him in both fights, didn't it? Although the first one, I think his trainer could have got him the win if they'd known the rules a bit better at the end. But I think Liam Smith just shaded the both fights if you put them both together, didn't it? There was no in it though. It was razor thin, wasn't it? But yeah, there's some good fights there, but they're not going to work together, are they? So I can't really answer that. Is that like a trick question, Mark? Let's have a look. Why does Hearn pretend to be best mates with his fighters, then throw them under buses? I just think that's how it is, isn't it? You're going to want to try and befriend a fighter, aren't you? You're working with. You know, I mean, Dennis had a close relationship, didn't he, with Ross Birkinshaw, Clinton Woods, Ricky Hatton, Jamie McDonnell. Have they all got close relationships now? We don't know, do we? But it is what it is, isn't it? Are they as close now, should I say? Probably not, but when you're fighting with somebody and you're earning money together, everybody's your best mate, aren't they? You know, it's easy to love somebody that's giving you big checks. It's easy to love a person like that, isn't it? It's when them checks stop. You know what I mean? For example, I heard a story about Lee Purdy, you know, wanting a favour off certain people in boxing now. If you remember, Lee Purdy got thrown under a bus, didn't he? And when it come down to it, you know, nobody wanted to know, did they? But yeah, he was thrown under a bus. They had him sat in a sauna, didn't they, in New York? Barry Hearn and Lee Purdy were sat in a sauna because they needed to get him off that line to get the TV money. But it is what it is, isn't it? Why does Hearn pretend to throwing him under a bus, putting Dave Allen in with Ortiz, Brook in with Triple G, McDonnell in with Inu, throwing Awara under a bus? Yeah, they were all, but you've got to look at it like this. Dave Allen against Ortiz. Dave Allen were begging for the fight. Let's have a look. So 27. Dave Allen were begging for the fight with Ortiz, and Ortiz would have only fought an Hungarian journeyman type, wouldn't he? So Dave Allen would just like the substitute for that, wouldn't he? He got his centre, you know, top line, 12.5 grand. And then you've got all things to come off that, haven't you? So it won't really. It probably put miles on the clock. It wasn't really a good move. Now I don't know if many people know on here that Dennis signed Dave Allen as a professional, as a 19-year-old, and Dennis gave him the nickname the White Rhino. They were going to call him something else, but you'll have to ask David that. I forgot what it is now. It's somewhat cringe, but and when David left Dennis, he were undefeated when he left Den. I think he was 6-0 with a draw when he left. So Dennis would have brought him on and protected him and put him in the right fights, like he did with Jamie McDonnell, Clinton Woods. You know, Ricky Hatton were unbeaten with Dennis, wasn't he? So you know, the proof's in the pudding. He knows what he's on with, doesn't he? If he's given the right tools to work with. But I think Dave Allen and Eddie Hearn, in my opinion, I think their relationship's not what it were no more. Dave will be rung up when he's needed. That's what'll happen, I think. But